Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you watched my previous video of this golf cart, you've seen that we repaired the whole front suspension on this thing. It had been in a bad wreck and had a bunch of stuff twisted up. We got all that stuff repaired, and now we're working on fixing the body on this thing, which, as you can see, I've already done a little bit of repair work on it. My phone was dead last night, so I wasn't able to record putting this part back together. But as you can see, we've got it pretty well tight, just like it should be, how it was cracked. This part I couldn't get very good, but we're gonna work with it the best we can. So now, the next process, well, let me show you this first. So if you look real close, you can see these little metal tabs that I put in here that are kind of like a W. I just made those out of some thin filler wire that I had around the welding shop. Bent those with a pair of pliers, and then I heated them up till they were cherry red with a torch, and I just pressed them into the plastic and let it melt in there. Gave it a few seconds and then took the pliers off and came back and just sanded the tips down to where they were smooth with the body. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the soldering iron out, which is probably not the proper way to do it, but that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna get the soldering iron out and start trying to melt some of these cracks. We're gonna melt them cracks back together with the soldering iron. See if we can kind of get it all one piece again. And then from there, we're gonna throw some Bondo on that thing. We're gonna see if we can slick it back out with some sandpaper, get it somewhat decent. I mean, we're not looking for perfection here, obviously. You can see anything's gonna be better than what it was. So once we do all that, get it somewhat sanded back down, kind of smooth, we'll throw a little bit of primer on it. And then we've got some Rust-Oleum. I think it's just almond Rust-Oleum, which the color is probably not going to be exact, but it's pretty close. So then we're just going to dust it all back in and at least make it look like a decent cart again. So guys, if you would, stay tuned and let's see how this works out. All right guys, so now that we've pretty much got it all soldered back together, need to go ahead and knock down all the rough spots with the DA sandpaper. Gonna go ahead and smooth it all out, and then we'll get ready to put some Bondo on it. All right, so we've got it all knocked down. It's all smoothed out. We're gonna go ahead and get our Bondo here and get it mixed up and go ahead and skim all these places here and let that cure, and then we'll start sanding it. Try to get it as flat as we can, and once we get it all sanded out and flat, we'll shoot some paint on it. Alright guys, so I'll be honest with you. I'm no good with working with Bondo, but I did what the instructions said, and I got her all smeared on there. Definitely a lot higher than what it needs to be, so I got plenty of room to sand it off. So we're gonna let that cure out for a little bit, and then we're gonna start sanding on it. Starting to cure up pretty good, so we're just gonna take some 80 grit sandpaper and just knock all the high spots down by hand, and then we'll come back with a DA and start trying to blend it all in and get it pretty smooth. Alright, so we got the first layer all sanded down. Got it pretty close. I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, I'm not a body guy at all. But looks like it's fairly flat with the panels. Has the right radius on the curves and all that. So obviously, we've got a few low spots still where the Bondo didn't get quite in all the holes. So we're going to skim coat it one more time, get those all filled up. And then we're gonna DA it one more time, and then from there we'll hand sand it and try to, you know, blend it all in pretty good. Alright guys, we got the final sanding done. I know it's probably not going to turn out exactly perfect, but it's definitely going to be better than what we had. And for my first time, I don't think I did too bad. I guess we'll see once we get some paint on it. But we're about to tape it off and put some masking paper around it and shoot it with some primer. Alright folks, we got some primer on it. As you can see, it looks pretty decent. I mean, for what we started with, it's not bad. There's like one little spot there and a tiny little spot there that look like they're a little raised, but that's just the factory plastic of the golf cart that came up, and like when you sand it, it kind of gets fluffy, and I don't really know what to do about that. But the actual work that I did on it is pretty dang flat. So it's got a nice curve on the top. Everything looks good. We're gonna let this cure out for a little bit and then just hit it with a Scotch-Brite pad and shoot the tan on it. So we're almost done. Well guys, we just got the last coat of paint on it. Put 2 coats on. Just pulled all the paper off. Are you ready for the final product? Bam! Look at that. Not too shabby for not knowing how to do body work. That thing came out slick. Looks really good. Compared to what it was, man, what a difference. Well, there you have it. Broken golf cart fixed. Guys, thanks again for watching this video. Please hit that like button and also subscribe.